Hi, this is Patrick Johnston. This is another great episode of ETX Rocks featuring Ashley Plumlee.
From the great state of Texas, this is the latest episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. Nestled in the piney woods of East Texas, the ETX ROCKS Show delivers the stories and songs of talented artists of all genres, all styles, from the unheralded and unheard to the legends and beyond. We bring a passion for music and a drive to go behind the curtain with our guests. We focus on all artists, from LA to New York, Nashville down to Texas, and everywhere in between. ETX is our location, not a limitation. Now, as always, it's viewers and listeners like you out there that are our biggest support for the show. If you want to contribute to the show, please do so by donating to www.paypal.me/ETXRocks. And thank you for tuning in. Wherever you're tuned in, please hit the like, follow, and or subscribe buttons. And now, for another great episode of ETX Rock. Hey guys, thanks for checking out the 220th episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. Now, our guest this week is an awesome singer-songwriter from Harker Heights, Texas, who is no stranger to the big stage. She has opened for the likes of Bri Bagwell, Matt Kimbrow, 2 Tons of Steel, Josh Grider, the Damn Quails, and so many others. Now, for Ashley Plumlee, music is therapeutic. Whether it's getting over a heartbreak or hearing how her music impacts those she performs in front of. Once Ashley learned the guitar, she was hooked. Having fallen in love with the Texas music scene like so many of us, she is now living her dream as a performer and a songwriter, although she still works 40 hours a week. We are very excited to talk to Ashley Plumlee for the first time this week on the ETX ROCKS Show. All right, hey guys, Boston Chris here, your host for the ETX ROCKS Show, and as we said in the open, we have Ashley Plumlee here along with her lead guitarist, Corey. So welcome to the show for the first time, guys.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Yes,
now,
thank you.
as we said, Ashley is actually from Harker Heights, which is near where?
Oh my gosh, it's like 4 hours, I want to say, south. And yeah, don't ask me directions. I will lead you the wrong place, my
So
friend.
you have GPS for it.
Yeah, that is why God made GPS. So yeah, it's about 4 hours south. We had so much fun driving up here though. Like I can sit there. My husband drove us, but I can sit there and listen to these guys, Corey and Johnston, just talk like the whole 4 hours. I don't get bored. But yeah, we came about 4 hours to get here, and it was the trees here, by the way.
Yeah, there's trees here.
I love the trees here. Like, they're hypnotizing.
It's bad in the summer, though.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Pollen.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus,
I
bad.
can imagine.
Well, I definitely want to thank you guys for taking the time to come hang out with us. I mean, we're talking 8 hours round trip, and we'll probably be here an hour and a half, but I definitely appreciate that. You guys are, you're an amazing artist.
Thank you.
And man, what a great story Ashley has, and we're really blessed to be able to tell the story behind her music. And Ashley Plumlee on the ETX ROCKS Show. All right, so you guys are actually going to play a couple of songs for us on the episode. So tell us about the first one and maybe a little bit of background on how you wrote it and stuff like that.
So the first one we played was Matilda, and that one was actually written with a friend of mine, Charles, and he actually came to me with this like string of news articles that he'd found, and he was like, "This lady is so interesting." I was like, "What are you talking about?" So he's telling me, he's like, "Her name's Matilda, and she was shot down in Louisiana." I was like, "Okay, tell me more." And he's like, basically, this man fell in love with her. She was a hat maker. She was divorced. She was a hat maker in Dallas, and she lived in the Oriental Hotel. Made hats. Some guy fell in love with her. She was like, "Nah, bro, I'm good." And he was like the whole, "If I can't have you, nobody can." So he shot her down in Louisiana. She lived. She survived, and she just became a traveler, like a hat maker. But it was interesting because there was people that would gossip about her in Dallas. Just like the normal Texas thing, like Southern thing. We're gonna gossip about you. Bless your heart, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
And the line goes, "Plume's feather stitches only for the high class. They were spreading your gossip while wearing your hats." Like she would make these fancy hats for them. Only the high class could afford them, but the high class people were talking crap about her constantly. And she just lived a really interesting life. And I was like, we have to write a song about that. Like, can we do this? So he kind of, came up with the guitar part, and I was like, yeah, I think I can do that. Yeah, little baby guitar player, I can do that. And so I started putting the words together with it. And before I knew it, I was like, this is actually a really fun song. I'm going to continue playing this. And then, you know, Corey comes along and he adds some mandolin in there. I was like, that is fire. That is great. Let's keep that up. So yeah, Corey makes that song though. Like that mandolin on there, I'm like, dang,
it is really nice.
It's good.
Yeah. So y'all check this out. This is Matilda by Ashley Plumlee. That was Matilda by Ashley Plumlee. Great, great song. Guys, we're going to be right back with more from Ashley right after this.
Hey, y'all, this is Bri Bagwell. Thank you for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
All right, so this is not going to be an interrogation, I promise you.
Cool.
So we're just going to talk and kind of talk about where you came from and where you're going.
Okay.
Now, you really got started a little bit later than a lot of artists with your music. And I think you credit your husband for that, right?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if I should, like, I don't know if he's happy about that or not, probably. But, yeah, he actually did music for a long time, and he composed, beats and things like that. And I was like, I'm going to learn to play an instrument, like, just to be a part of that, because it was getting kind of boring just not, like, him being in his studio and me, like, not doing anything.
Just like watching Netflix or something.
Well, this was, like, way before, I think, Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think this was when Netflix, this is how long ago this was. This is when Netflix still, like, sent out DVDs.
They still do that, actually.
Do they?
Yeah. Netflix is not sponsoring this episode now. Thanks, Ashley.
So it was back then, and I waited. He actually went overseas for a while as a contractor to work, and he came home one Christmas, and I was like, I kind of want to learn how to play guitar, and he was like, didn't blink, straight up went to the store. I'm not going to mention the store name, since they probably don't sponsor it. But he went there, he got me like this little rinky-dink little, not just acoustic guitar.
Right.
And I started taking lessons from another lead guitar player's dad. But I'm such a talker that, like, I didn't learn anything just because I would just sit there and talk to him for the full hour.
Right.
Hi, how are you? Like, what are you doing? And then eventually I started going to open mics and such, and I was like, oh, I could probably float by a little bit, with my voice and other people playing guitar for me. And then I realized that those people were not always going to be at these open mics. So I had to learn how to play. So I actually
that takes a lot of perseverance, I think.
It does.
So, I mean, how long ago was this?
This was, oh my gosh, how long has it been now? I want to say 2012 was when I started. So about 5 years or so. I mean, I'm still a baby guitar player, for the most part, but I'm learning it every day as I go,
And so, I mean, picking up this guitar has really changed your life in a lot of ways because, I mean, as someone who wasn't a musician, wasn't a songwriter, you're not really thinking in a musically inclined way from day to day.
Yeah.
Now you're learning guitar, and now you're hearing things, in pop culture, on TV, around you that are influencing you in ways that never happened before the guitar. So tell us about the process, like, within your mind at that point in time, just the changes of just everything around you.
I cannot listen to a song anymore without critiquing it.
Yeah.
And just being like, hey, oh my gosh, that's a good line. Why didn't I think about that? Why didn't I think to write that? I can watch TV now, and I'll be like, oh, that's a good plot. Like, could that be a song? Or...
So you're, like, writing stuff down all the time, putting it into your phone.
I just have a book that I call my vomit book. Like, it's just a book of nothing but, like, random lines that I thought would be super great in a song one day, and a lot of times that's how I piece together a song. Like, I will just go to my book, or, like, I have a bunch of notes on my phone.
Right.
My computer at home also is just full of sticky notes of just, like...
random ideas.
Yeah, I mean, because we have an iMac, so if you're not familiar, like, iMacs have the little virtual stickies that are just on there. So it's just full of sticky notes that are just full of random song lines that I think would be cool, and most of the time, I don't do anything with them.
How often do you go back to those?
I actually was thinking about that last week. I was like, I need to go and put, like, some of those into my vomit book and, like, put them, get them organized in some way.
Book.
Yeah, it's just a word vomit book. That's what I'm going to call it. And, I mean, I can't listen to anything anymore without thinking, oh, wow, would this be a really good song? Would this be something that would be catchy or,
Right.
Because I'm all about lyrics. I'm lyrics over
melody.
Catchy.
Okay.
Like, I'm lyrics over that.
I got you.
But I end up getting some pretty catchy stuff out of it.
I agree.
Somehow. But I focus more on those lyrics. I'm like, does that make sense? Like,
right.
I will rewrite something because I'm like, that doesn't make enough sense. I've actually started trying to finish up writing for the next album that I'm saving up to record. And it's like, I've really been taking my time with it because I really want it to be
right.
Not that anything that I put out before wasn't good, but I want this to just be like stellar.
All right, so with the first album, were you doing that as well? Kind of taking your time with it, or is that something you learned by, like, trial by fire or something?
So they say that, like, you spend your whole life writing your first album, right? Like, they say that, and I think that's true. A lot of things that, like, I didn't really go back and rewrite it because I'd already put, like, thought and consideration into it. But this one it's kind of different because I don't really have a timeline. I can go in and record it whenever the funds are available, to go do that. But I'm still, I guess, because last time we recorded in our home studio last time. But this time, because I'm going to a professional, not saying that ours wasn't professional, because it was, but we're going to, like, a professional studio. Like, my goal is to record with Chad Malden.
Nice.
And, I'm just really handling it with kid gloves. And
that's exciting. I had no idea about that.
I really want to record with Chad. We've talked about it. He's given me pricing and all that, and I'm like, I just gotta save up.
So I gotta know, how did that happen? How did you meet Chad?
So Kirk Baxley.
Okay.
He and I are friends, and I went to one of his shows. I was off, so I was like, let's go. Johnston, my husband's a big fan of Kirk as well. So we went, and he was like, hey, you have to meet my producer. And I was like, all right, yeah, let's do that. And it was funny because it was kind of, I had gone up to Chad not knowing who he was and going, hey, you need to turn this up on Kirk's, sound. And Chad, like, just took it with a grain of salt. But, like, afterwards, like, we spoke, and Kirk was like, this is my producer. And I was like, I'm sorry. He was like,
Chad's an awesome guy.
He's great.
Very, very awesome.
He's
guy.
really great.
In fact, our second episode ever on this show was recorded in his studio.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when he was still in Bullard. He's
awesome.
Moved over to Gladewater now. But, yeah, we recorded, episode 2 was with one of his studio musicians who's also Don Henley's steel player. Mm-hmm. And he'll probably play on your album, I imagine.
Probably.
His name's Milo Deering.
That might have been who was on, I think, Kirk's album.
Oh, yeah.
Like
yeah. Everything Chad does, Milo's on there somewhere. Kirk Baxley, you want to talk about a phenomenal artist.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't heard of Kirk out there,
he's great.
look him up. His album is called
The Pain We Bring.
The Pain We Bring. Yeah, I had pain in my mind. The Pain We Bring.
We were listening to it on the way up. We listened to, he's on our playlist, like our road playlist.
Yeah.
And so him and like I'm just, that's one of the things that I love about this scene. Like, you can meet the most amazing artists. Like, they're so talented and they're so friendly. Like, I get pep talks from Bri Bagwell.
Right.
Like, the girl pep talks me sometimes, and I'm like, thank you. Like, this, when I got into this Texas scene, like, I was, like, idolizing this woman. I was like, she's amazing. I love her. Like, her and Charla were, like, my two favorites, and, because I was just, the only thing, the first thing you do when you dabble into the music scene is you go straight to the Texas music charts, and you see what's on there.
Right.
So that's what I did, and, like, Bri was on there, and I was like, oh, I love her, just listening to, like, those albums that were on iTunes that I
Bri is so
bought.
full of encouragement too. I mean, she's just an incredible artist, and even more, even better human being.
Yeah.
An amazing person. She did an interview with us over the summer last year, and I still can't believe that happened. Like, she went out of her way for us, and I'll never forget that. And that's one thing you and I have in common is a love for the Texas female singer-songwriter.
Yep.
And, we've had a lot of them on our show, and that's because I feel like they don't get the credit they deserve from radio especially. And I call out Texas radio all the time. Texas radio and Texas music venues. The females in this state have it going on.
Yes, we do.
And y'all need to give them a shot because there's not enough headlining gigs for females in the state of Texas, and that's a shame, in my opinion.
And we're all so, like, sisterhoodly about it.
Yes, I agree.
We're not, like, backhanded about it. We're not,
I see shows all the time where, there's like 4 or 5 of the girls just jamming it up, just loving each other. Oh my God, yeah.
Come on. Like, the harmonies that you can get out of, I mean, like, I think, who was it that said that Texas women are just, they're made differently? Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's great that there's such that, like, sisterhood of, like, the Yaya traveling pants or something with all of us. Like, we're all encouraging, and, that's the thing that I love about this scene is that you can meet the most amazing artists, and they are just humble.
Yep, approachable.
Like, there was a place I was playing in my hometown, and I sat down and had a beer with one of the patrons afterwards, and he was like, this is what I love about Texas music. You just got up on stage and you were playing, and you're great. And I was like, thank you. He's like, and I'm having a beer with you right now. I was like, well, yeah, what else would I be doing? Like, I'm not Tim McGraw or anything.
And this, what's really cool is if you guys are listening from out of state, maybe you don't know much about Texas music, but this is from the very top to the bottom. It's that way. And I mean, Aaron Watson, and I consider Aaron Watson the top of, the cream of the crop in Texas. It's hard to get any bigger than Aaron Watson right now.
Yeah.
And I've physically seen that man stand in the rain for 2 or 3 hours to make sure every fan has been talked to after a show. It starts at the top, and I see it all the way down. Very infrequently do I see an artist that skirts his fans after a show or her fans after a show. And you're right, that's what separates Texas from a lot of other scenes, for sure.
You never want to skirt them because biggest rule for you to know in this scene is that your fans, like the people that want to listen to your music, and no matter how big you are, whether or not you're in Texas, whether or not you're in another state, another market, your fans are what make you. Like those people listening to you, don't skirt them.
Yep.
They're giving you a platform.
And I think with the independent nature of music in Texas, I think the artists here are so wise to that aspect of their career. And I think people in Texas, musicians in Texas, have learned how to use social media to work with that.
I still suck at
that mindset. I disagree. I don't think you suck at it at all. I see a lot of your stuff come out, and I think you're very connectable. I think you're approachable in a social media way, and I think that comes off that way to your fans as well.
Did you see my Everybody Poops hashtag that I
Possibly.
just did?
I wasn't going to mention it, but...
So we're on the way here, and you drive 4 hours. You want to make sure that you stop at the restroom. So you got to bring your poopery with you, and I made sure that I took a picture of it with my little Texas makeup bag.
She is so making the second segment way easier right now. Doesn't even realize it.
So you take a picture of it and you just put it out there for the world to know that.
We will be talking more in depth about poop in our second segment, so you guys make sure you stick around. So your process for writing, now you've only been a musician for about 5 years, you said, and so we talked a little bit about how you get inspired and stuff from stuff around you, but have you felt like your songwriting process has evolved over time as well?
Yeah. I used to try to pigeonhole myself and just stick with one genre, and I was like, this is the genre I have to be in. But then I realized that I love all genres. Like there's not one single genre that I can stick to or that I can write.
Right.
I just write what I like now, and I've noticed that it's kind of I can't even put myself in a genre. Like this weekend, there was a venue that was like, yeah, we're not really booking Red Dirt. I was like, wait, I didn't know I was Red Dirt.
What?
And I was like, oh. Well, I'm not. Yeah, it's just their crowd just doesn't cater to that.
Not Red Dirt.
Yeah, I'm not Red Dirt.
It's like blues country.
Yeah, I can't even put a.
But there's no. I mean, who else is blues country in Texas? Like the way I described you to my producer when I was scheduling with Kaylee was, imagine a blues singer singing country music. And that's Ashley Plumlee. Like you have that blues inflection with your voice, like the grittiness of it.
Yeah.
You don't hear that in country music anymore. I'm not sure you've ever heard that in country music, honestly.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So it's something completely different. To hear a venue say you're Red Dirt,
yeah,
that just means they're not listening.
Yeah.
And that's messed up.
It kind of was. I was like, oh, I don't think that you listened to the album, but that's okay. You know what? You're busy. You got stuff to do. And hey, at least they know their patrons. You know what I mean? I thought that was cool. I was like, all right, you're patrons, and I'm not the style. That's fine. Mm-hmm. There's other stuff. Right. I did roll my eyes a little bit, but
yeah.
Well,
you saw my reaction.
Yeah.
Because I listened.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of podcasts, we weren't talking about podcasts, so that was a terrible segue.
That's all right.
But we are on a podcast.
Yeah.
And you guys are actually dabbling with your own podcast as well. It's called the Shasta. It's called the Shasta Canned Ham Radio Show.
It's a working title. I think we're working on the.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with tiny trailers, the little Shasta trailers.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with anything that's vintage like that. That's just retro. I love retro music.
Right.
I mean, we love vinyl. I mean, we're weird. I mean, my husband does woodworking, for crying out loud. Like, I think we're, like, the older we get, the more retro we're getting. But, yeah, I'm just obsessed with anything retro. So, Corey was like, why don't you just call it the Shasta Can-Ham Radio Show? And I was like, I like that. Let's do that.
I don't think that's a working title. I think that's the title.
I'm a little bit worried that, like, the Shasta vintage trailers at some point are going to be like, hey, girl, this is copyright.
No. I think as long as it's got more behind it, it can't be infringing on copyright.
Yeah.
You know? That would be like somebody using ETX and me being mad about it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
You're like, well, hey. I know that BJ, one of my friends, BJ Garcia, he posted a picture and he had a Shasta, like, cola.
Yeah.
And a canned ham. And I was like, oh man, that's great. It's not what I had in mind, but I loved the depiction of it, like the translation to him of it. But we're working on it still. We've had like one of our friends on the show, and Johnston, my husband, will be on the show with us. He does like the background stuff, and then it mostly becomes like, right now, it's mostly like they're drinking beer, I'm drinking wine, and we're talking about things. That's all.
But you plan on having guests?
Yeah, we're going to get guests.
And it's going to be somewhat music related as well.
Yeah. I want to do like Tomato Tuesdays or Tomato Time. Not Tomato Tuesdays. Why did I say
You're going to have to explain that one.
So Tomato Time. You guys know of the guy that was on radio, and he's kind of said that, women in country were like tomatoes in a salad. You don't really need them, but they're there. And so, this whole big movement happened where, people like Miranda and all of them were wearing, like, shirt, like a red shirt that said tomato. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to do, like, part of the, the segment being, like, Tomato Time, like a Texas woman, Texas country, or just women in music in general. Like, there's so many of them out there that are just phenomenal. Like, I mean, for offhand example that people probably haven't even heard of is Honey Honey. Like, they're like, it's a band, but there's a woman. She's prominent in the vocals, and it's just really great. I mean, I just love all women music for the most. I'll
have to check them out.
Music by women for the most part. So that'll be something that we probably put in the segment.
Would you say that most of your influences are women?
Nah, I have all sorts of influences, but I love listening to female music. I really do. It's just, I love the process. I would love to just sit down with like so many different women and just be like, what's your process? How do you do this? Like how do you, how does your life influence your music? So that might be something maybe I can do down the road.
Sounds like you need to listen to more episodes of our show.
Yeah, I probably do.
That's exactly what we do, is we try to get, I mean, you can see I'm trying to get behind the music.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had, quite a few females on this show.
I love that.
Yeah, it's important to me. Not just because, obviously there's female artists in the state, but I think they need more help in rising to the top, because there's so many male artists that are stars in this state especially. But you can go on forever, from Kevin Fowler to Aaron Watson, Cody Johnson, Stoney LaRue. There's dozens. So it's hard for a female to break through that and end up with a #1 song in Texas.
It's hard to be taken.
That's why Bri is so amazing, because she works her ass off.
She does.
And, excuse my language, not really.
She's great.
The results are there for her. Mm-hmm. Like, she's almost reached that hurdle. And her and I talked about that, in our interview, about how difficult it is for a female. And she gave great advice, too. Mm-hmm. So you probably check that one out.
She's full of great advice. She's amazing.
Gosh. Her post the other day, where she just numbered different things, was amazing.
Well, the day before that, I had sent her a screenshot of that, that we're not really booking Red Dirt Country right now.
Yeah.
And I sent it to her, and I was like, she was like, just keep at it, mama. And I was like, thanks.
Right.
Because, she's great about giving pep talks and stuff like that. So.
She really is, and she, like we said earlier, very big encourager. All right, so one thing I definitely want to talk to Ashley about is PCOS. This is something you're very passionate about, and helping other women that may have it. So tell us what PCOS is in case our listeners don't know, and why you're so passionate about helping other folks with it.
So PCOS is a hormonal issue. It affects the ovaries, but they've shown some recent studies where it may actually be in the brain.
Okay.
So, but it's mainly a hormonal issue. Women will, start missing periods, and they don't even realize that they have that. Usually these women will have like excess body hair. They'll have, weight in their abdomen, things like that. But it causes multiple miscarriages. It can cause a high blood pressure, diabetes, all of these things wrapped into this one thing that a lot of women don't even know that they have. It causes infertility as well. But I'm really passionate about it because I have PCOS. I was diagnosed with it when I was like in 2007. And I am passionate about learning more about it. My husband and I are eventually going to start a family. And I don't want that to be a hurdle. So I want to learn more about it. I kind of ignored it for a really long time just because if you ignore it, it's not there, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. But I'm passionate about it, and a lot of women don't know that they have it. So I feel like if the more I learn about it, I can be an answering post for people. They can come to me and ask those questions. Hey, tell me about this. What did you experience with this? What research have you done? Like, I've even combated my own doctors about it. Like, I've gone through several different doctors where they were like, you shouldn't be taking inositol because I've never heard of it. And I'm like, have you done any research, sir? Like, have you actually done any sort of research into this? You're supposed to specialize in this, and you've never heard of one of the vitamins that's super critical for this syndrome. And I recently went to a doctor, finally, and he was like, I've heard of that. I encourage you to keep taking it. I'm glad that you've done your own research and you're able to advocate for yourself.
That's good.
So, yeah, that's why I'm passionate about it. I have it, and it's not going anywhere, So, I struggle with it. There's things that I can do differently. I'm not perfect with it, so...
So do you find yourself, like, in situations where your knowledge of that can help somebody and... Maybe it comes up in conversation or something?
It can. It has online a lot. There's a lot of women who, when I go out and I'll post a hashtag PCOS or something, they're like, what is that? And then I'll talk to them about it, and they're like, oh, I might have that.
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about it some more. Have you gone to see a doctor? What sort of things are you experiencing? Let's delve into this. Let's figure this out, because you want to be able to advocate for yourself. There's a lot of doctors who are going to turn you away and say, no, that's not what you have. Go away. It took me forever to be diagnosed with that, just because, I knew something was up, but, nobody would tell me that that's what it was until
So if someone out there is listening and maybe they're thinking, hey, this sounds like something I might, have. Yeah. What's your advice to them to follow up with all this?
Do your research. You can also message me on Facebook. I am an open book of information. If I don't know it, I will find it out for you. But make sure you advocate for yourself, and you get that out there. You let your doctors know, this is what I'm experiencing, this is what I think I have. Make them do the test. You can look up what the tests are. You can message me. I'm happy to help. I'm sorry if you're ever in that position. It's not that bad. It's not the end of the world or anything. It's not something that you caused either. It's just the way your body is, and that's okay, because every body is beautiful. Just message me, let me know, and I will help you find ways to advocate for yourself.
Awesome. So guys, we're sitting here, and this is episode 220 with Ashley Plumlee, and we're going to be right back after this.
Hey guys, I'm Holly Tucker, and you're listening to the ETX ROCKS Show.
All right, so we are back, and if you guys have been tuned into the ETX ROCKS Show before, then you guys know that we like to play a little game with our guests on this show. And this is no exception. We're actually going to play What the Heck with Ashley Plumlee today. And so, as I've said before, we always send out an email to every guest we have on the show. And it says clearly in the email, check out an episode or two. And we do this on every episode. So if you have checked out an episode, then you know we do this and you're not surprised.
Yeah.
But we always know who is surprised and who isn't.
Yeah, that's me.
So, this is called What the Heck, and all we're going to do is I'm going to ask you 10 questions. Some of them are going to be stupid, silly, some might be deep. And I'm just looking for you to turn your filter off, and I want the very first thing that pops into your head.
Okay.
Sound good?
Okay, we'll try.
All right, so this is called What the Heck with Ashley Plumlee. Okay, number 1. This is a good one. What do you think cats dream about?
Squirrels.
Squirrels.
Yeah,
All the time.
all the time.
All right, so speaking of squirrels, where do you think squirrels go during hurricanes?
I don't know. They don't go in trees. I think squirrels actually dig, and we don't know.
Really? So like they have like this whole tool thing that we don't even know exists.
I think they dig. I think that they only do it under dire circumstances.
So like when the wind is blowing really hard, we don't see it because we're already sheltered up.
Well, that or like we're just not paying attention to squirrels. Like who pays attention to squirrels when there's a hurricane? You're getting the heck
That's
out of
messed
there.
up, man. What if you were a squirrel? That's gonna really.
Look, okay, let me tell you a story about squirrels.
Okay.
I don't like them. I don't like them. I think it started when I was a kid. There's this story about Hector, and it was this made-up ghost that it embodied dead animals. Okay, and they're telling me the story. I'm this impressionable kid, and I guess the embodiment of Hector. If you touch a dead animal or whatever, Hector will come into your room at night and like make it rain like pennies, and if the penny touches you, it burns your skin.
Wow.
I don't know where the story came from. It's right along the ways with Goatman.
So Hector ruined squirrels for you.
Yeah, like, well, the thing that ruined it for me was these kids are telling me the story, and they pick up this squirrel. They're like, oh my gosh, it's got a gold tooth like Hector would have. I'm like, that's racist for one. 2, sorry guys, I'm getting over the flu, so you're gonna hear coughing. But they're like, look, it has a gold tooth. And I'm like, oh, no, don't. And then they pick it up and they shove it, like, in my face. So
you were
squirrels
traumatized.
Yeah, like, I'm traumatized by squirrels. Like, and
raining pennies.
Yeah, raining. I don't know what kind of kids did I grow up with? I don't know.
I don't know.
I hope that
That's
my
a
future
little
children
weird.
don't ever, grow up with kids like that.
All right, so we did talk about poop a little bit earlier.
We did.
So I'm bringing that full circle now.
Okay.
All right, so number 3, when dating somebody new, what is the appropriate amount of time to wait before doing number 2 in front of them?
It has been so long since I've dated anybody new. I've been married for 10 years, but I will say 2 months.
60 days.
Yeah. 60 days.
I can buy into that.
Yeah. Just make sure you have your poopery.
Yeah.
It's important.
Poopery.
The poopery.
Awesome. All right, we're going to stay on poop.
Yes.
Number 4. Now, if 4 out of 5 people suffer from diarrhea, does that mean the 5th person enjoys it?
It has to be. That makes sense. Somebody out there, there's got to be one person in the world that enjoys diarrhea. I mean,
20% of the world population enjoys diarrhea.
You
So
know,
that means there's 5
there's a
of
lot
us
of
here in the
people.
living room right now.
there's a lot of people in this world.
So one of us enjoys it.
There are people that are into weird things. I buy it.
Yeah, I agree. So now it got me wondering, because I know it's not me. So,
Johnston.
It's Johnston.
Totally plum pants over there. He's like, I feel nice and clean after.
Just wipes the system right
just
clean.
out.
Yeah.
Either that or the 5th person is the one causing the diarrhea.
Oh, that's
That could be.
So, conspiracy.
That's why
Yeah,
they
that could
enjoy
be.
it so much.
It's, I always get a kick out of those
That person is
statistics.
awful.
All right, so when Geronimo jumps out of a plane, what does he say?
I'm falling. I don't know.
Because anybody else would say Geronimo when
Yeah.
you jump out of a plane.
I think Geronimo would probably say me.
Yep. Very good. All right, number 6. I'm going to do this in honor of my producer. This is her favorite one. Okay, so if bacon is bacon and cookies are cookies, then why do we cook bacon and cook
And bake cookies.
and bake cookies? Yeah.
Mm.
Should it be like cooking and bakies?
Yeah, that makes sense. I've never thought about that before. But I guess, I mean, you gotta be a rebel, right? I mean,
Yeah.
bacon and cookies, they say that neither of those things are good for you, right?
Of course not. Nothing's good.
So, I mean, why not just mess up the status quo a little bit more?
I mean, think about all the stuff 20 years ago that they said was good for you.
Yeah.
Like 70% of that stuff is bad for you now.
Well, there's like a whole diet out there that where like you can have bacon.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Ketogenic. It's great
What is
for
it called?
ketogenic diet. Keto. It's a high fat, low carb. It's actually great for women with PCOS.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
It could be great for me too. I
It's
mean,
great for
you just
guys
never
for
know.
sure. Like
Just
it's
never know.
amazing for everybody. They say that that's the way we're supposed to be eating. But
Okay. All right, number 7.
favorite number.
All artists, only one artist exists. You can listen to one artist for the rest of your life, but as soon as you choose this artist, everybody else does not exist. So you have one artist you can pick. Who are you listening to?
Don't do that to me because now nobody else exists.
Mhm.
Oh man, it's a tie for me. And they're not, and I feel so bad because I'm so into retro and vintage,
Mhm.
and I like older music. Like I like discovering older music because I wasn't raised on a lot of music. It's a tie between Isbell and Lambert for me
Okay.
because their albums, like I could literally listen to them all day.
So like Jason Lambert or Miranda Isbell?
It'd probably be Jason Isbell.
Okay. All right.
I can't get tired of his music, and I keep waiting for the day to happen, and it
Yeah.
doesn't happen.
And that's usually the one that you have to pick is the one that you just don't get tired of it.
Yeah,
Ever.
I can't.
For me, it would be
try.
Sean McConnell, I think.
Oh God, he's good too.
Yeah. Like he
Now
comes...
Sean McConnell. Now I'm depressed because Sean McConnell's gone.
All right, number 8. Now, if there's a heavens no, people say heavens no a lot, right? And people say hell yeah a lot. But, so, why isn't there like a purgatory perhaps?
I'm gonna start saying that. That's a thing now. I'm making it a thing.
I just need one artist to go to a show. Because you know how people will say, you know, give me a hell yeah at a show? Just to get the like the crowd rowdy or whatever. I just need one artist to say, give me a purgatory perhaps, and video it.
Yeah, I'll do it. Can I get maybe like a purgatory perhaps? I don't want you to feel like you have to choose. So
Yeah, I don't need you to cuss. You know, maybe you're Christian. You don't want to say hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's your option.
yeah,
Purgatory
maybe you don't want to
perhaps.
invoke heaven right now. I mean,
Right.
we don't
Why
wanna
isn't
invoke-
this a thing? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've never thought about that. That is a
Thank you. And number 9, how often weekly do you hurt yourself attempting to dance in the shower?
I'm so clumsy. I don't attempt it. I will fall and I will not get up. I will be that old lady that is like I have fallen and
Medic alert bracelet.
I keep my watch near like on the windowsill when I take a shower because part of PCOS is I get anxiety a lot, but I will bring my watch with me just because I'm afraid. I'm like, look, I might fall and die today.
And you want to know what time that happened?
No, it'll call the ambulance if I need it to. Hold down this little button, this little handy dandy button on the
man.
side. It'll send them right over to my house. And then I get anxiety because I'm thinking, I have fallen in the shower. I am nude.
Yep.
Someone is going to see my body, and I'm not ready for this. So it's a lot. I don't attempt to dance in the
And
shower.
this is why we play this game, because you just never know what rail it's going to go down.
It goes. Yeah, that was,
All right.
that was fun.
Number 10. This will be the last one of what the heck. You are alive in the 1920s. Like, this is where you're growing up. Okay? So
Scary.
your current you does not exist.
Scary.
So you're alive in the 1920s, and you run into a time traveler with an iPhone 7.
Like Doctor Who.
Yeah, something like that. And a Luke Bryan ringtone comes on his phone. How do you react when hearing it?
My face right now says it all. I have been trying. One of my friends has been trying to get me to listen to Luke Bryan, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you cannot do that to me until you have actually sat down and listened to real music.
Mm-hmm.
You are not gonna you're not gonna get me to listen to that garbage. I'm sorry. Like, I don't care how much he shakes his booty in his little jeans. I don't care. It's not music.
It's certainly not
So
country
bad.
music.
You know, I'm not even gonna be like a genreist right now and be like, I'm not even gonna do that and be like, hey, yeah, this has to be country, this isn't country, because I'm so far from country, you know what I mean? But Luke Bryan is just not music.
So that was What the Heck with Ashley Plumlee. Thanks for being a good sport.
Of course.
We talked about poop
We did.
and
I'm not shy
her
about
fear
that.
of squirrels.
No.
So you guys are actually going to play another song for us. So tell us a little bit about this song.
So, Matilda is the first one we played. This one's called Reckless. Both of those songs are on my full-length album that is on, we'll talk about that in a little bit, I guess. But this one's called Reckless, and I wrote it with my friend Mark Allen Atwood. And I had started it, I had the early recordings of this, I had bronchitis, and sounded like a pterodactyl while I was like trying to write this, and I'm sitting in the sunroom and I just was just writing, I had a good, riff that I wanted for it, and just started putting words to it, and I couldn't finish it, so I emailed Mark and I was like, hey, can you help me finish this one? I'd had, a good bit of it. I needed a bridge and I needed a last, verse. And he helped me change a little bit of the chord structure to it, and he emailed it back to me. So we wrote the song via email.
Wow.
He emailed it back to me, and I think that he's played the song like once live, whenever he was in Dallas playing. But yeah, I love playing it. It's one of my favorites. I love the mandolin in it, of course. It just adds so much. It adds the feels to it, I feel like.
Yeah, I think the mandolin is such an awesome depth instrument. It really adds a lot of depth to a song.
It is, and it just adds more emotion to this
I
one.
agree.
So thank you for that, Corey. But it's basically about being reckless, and this isn't written about myself. I feel like I have to be like, I didn't write this about myself. Don't judge me. But I take inspiration from other things, and I saw people that were being reckless with hearts, and the people that were trusting them. So that's kind of what inspired this song. It was about being stupid and being mean with people that are counting on you. So this one's called Reckless.
So y'all check this out. This is Reckless by Ashley Plumlee. Okay.
It's that first shot of whiskey
and I just have one more question for you before we get into promotional. And this might be the hardest question of the interview, so I hope you're ready.
Ready.
Who is Ashley Plumlee?
Oh, this is a tough one. So Ashley Plumlee is a person that has a really good work ethic. I do work my 40 hours a week. I do book on the weekends when people will book me. Book me, people. I like playing shows. Saturdays are my favorite days to play just because I don't have to take off work. I kind of am a workaholic. I don't have to take off work to go play shows on Saturdays. I'm already off on Saturdays. We can just go and load up and go have fun and take the whole day. So Saturdays are my favorites, but Ashley is a person who is fun but awkward.
Yeah.
And I'm really shy. I know that would not come across today, but I'm very shy. I'm not. It takes a lot for me to actually walk up to someone and talk to them because anxiety is a killer. My head will be going through certain things like, what if they don't like me? Like, what if they're like, what is this woman doing?
You're overanalyzing
yeah,
everything.
just overthinking it. Just before the thing even happens. The thing can happen, and I've already thought of 20 different ways that it could have gone differently. So I'm an anxious person, but I'm fun. I have a good work ethic, like I mentioned. I love playing music. Music is so much fun to me. I personally love songwriting a little bit more than I love playing shows, but I love playing shows. That should show how much I love songwriting.
Right.
It's therapy. I don't know. Who is Ashley? Now I'm going to think about that, and I'm going to overthink about it.
Okay, so if people are just hearing about Ashley Plumlee for the first time, where is the best places for them to follow along with everything you have going on?
I want you to listen to my music first before you follow me on Facebook because, yes, I'm super approachable, but I want you to know that my music comes first as a big portion. And you can find my music on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, Beats, Tidal, did I say Amazon yet?
YouTube as well.
YouTube, it's on YouTube. The videos that are on there, there's like one music video we have out for Texas Troubadour.
Amazing video. You guys definitely need to check that out.
That was shot by Mike Bartosik, and he's a genius.
Amazing stuff.
He's really good.
Yeah.
We only paid him a bottle of rum for that shot.
So he's like Johnny Depp.
Well, yeah. But he'll probably charge more now, but because we had gone, my husband...
Now it's like 2 bottles of rum.
Yeah. And it wasn't the cheap kind either. I think it was like, I don't know how much, I think it was like Sailor Jerry's. I don't know rum, guys. So I don't know how much it was or what kind
rum
of... Rum
equals music videos.
Yeah, that's all I know now. Yeah. That's what I know rum as.
So once they've listened to your music, where's your social media located?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. On my Instagram, you're gonna find a lot of dog photos because I have 4 dogs. And you're gonna find a lot of food photos because I like food.
You're not necessarily in the same
not
photos.
Not in the same. Not all the time. Sometimes though.
Because if that's happening, then the dog is being bad.
Well, our dogs are not. I was trying to eat a breakfast taco this morning, and one of my dogs just jumped on the couch and he's just staring at me like, "Give me some of that." And I'm like, "No, I can have some." No, that's mine.
Fun but awkward, guys.
Fun but awkward.
Plumlee. You guys have been listening to episode number 220 with the one and only Ashley Plumlee. We've been sitting here talking about her music and her what she's passionate about and all that stuff. She is fun but awkward. Again, you guys can follow along with her on social media. She predominantly uses Instagram and Facebook, and she's located at Ashley Plumlee Music. I'll spell that out. It's ASHLEYPLUMLEE music.com. If you don't know how to spell music, look it up. So if you guys are tuned into the ETX ROCKS Show for the first time, first of all, I definitely want to thank you guys for checking us out today. We do this 2 or 3 times a week. We have plenty of content for you guys to check out. And you can follow along with everything that we're doing on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're located at ETX ROCKS. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, definitely smash that like button to let us know that you like what we're doing. Also, hit the subscribe button. It's completely free to do that, unless you hit the button twice. Then we will charge you $40. One time. We say that because if they hit it twice, that means they unsubscribed, and that's no good.
Yeah, that's no good.
$40, guys. No. If If you guys want to contribute to the ETX Rock Show financially, all of our funding completely relies on listeners and viewers like you guys out there. You guys can donate to the show at www.paypal.me/ETXRocks, and we definitely appreciate every dime that you guys send us. We'll take anything from 50 cents to $1 million. Nothing over $1 million because we can't afford that extra 15% in taxes. So, like, if you want to send like $999,000 in one donation and like $4 in the next one, we're completely okay with that. Send a note. We'll thank you back.
Also, I want to be friends with you.
Yes, absolutely. We'll book her. You send us $1 million, we will book her. We'll give her like 25%. It's $250,000.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I figured you would be.
It.
As we always say on the show, we want to thank you guys out there for always supporting live music of all genres and all styles. And don't ever forget,
ETX rocks.
That's right.
Howdy, folks. This is Aaron Watson.
This is Bri Bagwell.
This is Jake. And this is Walter from Rocky Queen.
This is Curtis Grimes.
Monty Pittman.
This is Doug Supernon.
I'm Heather Little.
This is Rob Redwine.
Ho! Hey, folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hey guys, I'm Katie Lynn, and make sure to tune in to ETX Rocks with
Boston Chris.
Hello, y'all. This is Ronnie Millsap, and thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
Tough guy. Ho!
Hey guys, we're Blacktop Mojo, and thank you for tuning in to ETX Rocks.